In a lot of these spaces, there's huge bipartisan agreement. If we train someone to be a PhD in physics, let's keep them in this country. We don't care where they were born. We want them to be innovating and researching for American companies on American soil. And this has become a bigger area of agreement in the advent of AI. There is a lot of discussion in Washington about whether we have the necessary researchers and skill sets and infrastructure to carry forward with new technologies. But what limits the discussion is this idea that the universe has to be solved. And by that, I mean, we have to deal with those who are here undocumented. We have to deal with border security. We have to deal with so-called chain migration. So there's all these public policies that are much more contentious that get in the way of politically resolving those areas where there's broad agreement.
Immigrants come and they bring 5 critical inputs into every economy: talent, investment, innovation, consumption, and taxes. Other than taxes, companies are in desperate need for the other 4. That's how companies are going to do everything they need to do. Hiring immigrants is critical for companies to expand into foreign markets, to better tailor their products, to better be able to attract talent. What that means is when you have those big 5 inputs that immigrants bring, you have a bigger economic pie. You also have a more diversified economy that creates more jobs, that creates more growth, and that creates prosperity for everybody. High-skilled immigrants are disproportionately the founders of tech companies, VC-funded companies. They start more than half of unicorns in the United States. They and their children start nearly half of companies that grow to be Fortune 500 firms. Immigrants are just 16% of the innovative workforce, but they're responsible for 36% of all patents in the US, so they punch way above their weight. The supply of skills and talent in STEM areas and science and engineering is disproportionately provided by immigrants.
I think we've got to quit conflating some of these issues with a challenge that we have on the border with asylum seekers. We need to make a bigger and broader argument about the economic advantage, but we also need to lead for those people who may want to stay here, who say, if people who come from my part of the world don't feel valued, maybe this isn't the place for me and I'm going to go back to where I came from.
We only give 140,000 employment-based green cards per year. My state of Pennsylvania alone could use all of them. We only give 85,000 H-1B visas when companies are demanding more than 500,000 of them per year. So when you get that mismatch, you get all kinds of distortions. Research shows that this really harms us. Wharton Britta Glennon has a couple studies that are very eye-opening. One of them shows that when companies miss out on hiring skilled immigrants, they take those jobs to Canada and India and China. When I talk to managers, they tell me, look, they'd rather have a prostate exam than go through the complication of hiring an immigrant, given how difficult it is. So a platform like Deel that can smooth out the process, remove the frictions, allows companies to get the talent they need both here and in other countries. It allows people in different locations to coordinate and do the work that we need to do. And that preserves jobs for Americans. That creates better products for Americans. Not just about this system being good for immigrants, it's about the system being good for us.
We're training in our great universities incredible workers, incredible minds, and sending them home to compete against us. So the story can't just be, what do I need, but what are my competitors overseas getting as a result of our training in our universities that now I'm going to have to compete against? Why isn't this happening? This is craziness that you're not getting this done, Congress. Look in your own backyard. Look at your representatives. Look at your senators. Deel is doing a great job helping American business and helping expand our opportunities for exports, being more competitive. The cost is still way too high. We need to streamline the process. We have many more jobs in my state than we have people who can fulfill them. That reduces our opportunity for growth in state domestic product. We've got to get people back to work. We've got to figure out the system, but we also have to protect the border.
Immigrants don't need your fear. Immigrants don't need your pity. Immigrants bring all the things that you and I want for a successful economy, for a successful business, for a thriving community, not just economically, but also culturally. But I actually think in 15 to 20 years, immigration will actually be popular politically out of sheer demographic desperation and because of geopolitical competition. So my prediction is that in about 20 years, immigration will be something that both parties really want just because we need it so desperately.